Is it that time already? Today, we're going to be skiing the slopes of Etsy's historical trend data, so you can start stocking your shop with the hottest items for 2024. For those who may be new here, my name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And one of my jobs over at eRank is to analyze current trends, as well as forecast the items that we expect to see trending over the coming months. Remember, when it comes to generating momentum on Etsy with new listings, it can take Etsy 60 to even 90 days to collect enough data about your new listings to assign it a listing quality score. Which means that if you want to ski up the slope for, say, Valentine's Day shoppers, you're going to need to start planning these new products now. If you want to learn more about how Etsy's algorithm works so you can make sure that you're planning for success in 2024, be sure to grab my free Etsy SEO toolbox up here. But for today's video, we're going to be focusing on trends that will hopefully continue to maintain popularity over the next few months, based on the search volumes and patterns that we've analyzed over the last 15 months. And just a quick disclaimer, every time that I post a trend video, the comments are filled with people asking, what about trends for digital planners? Or what about trends for shirts? Keep in mind that if there was a list of, say, the top shirt designs expected to trend in 2024, everyone would be using it and no one would be able to compete. Skill in trend analysis comes from being adaptive and looking at general trends with an abstract lens in order to incorporate these trends into your own industry as well. So, let's get started. Kicking off our list, the term dragon on Etsy has maintained a steady popularity in the last 15 months, with notable spikes taking place in March of 2023. Due to the rising interest in fantasy themes in books, movies, and television, dragons are a relatively universal trend that we expect to see stick around for quite a while. Speaking of dragons, we can also see a rising interest in searches for dragon egg over the last 3 months, which is especially intriguing due to the low competition levels and high average clicks and click-through rates. So if you create products in the fantasy niche, dragon egg themes or designs may be a great trend to target in 2024. Another trend that I've been monitoring for a while is the term alien, which has maintained a steady climb in popularity since May of this year, with noticeable spikes taking place in January, June, and October. This could be due to the more recent news on alien discoveries or even the revival of cool 90s themed designs and themes. Regardless, aliens are likely here to stay, making them a really fun trend to target in 2024. As we transition into cooler weather, people will be spending less time outside and more time cozied up on the couch. Because of this, we see an annual increase in searches for bookmarks during the colder months, with low points primarily taking place in May and June. Last year, searches for bookmarks spiked in November and maintained steady search patterns through April. And if you really want to take advantage of this trend, consider stacking it with the other trends from today's video, like dragon bookmarks or alien bookmarks. It's hard to miss the popularity of retro-themed designs and fonts, which can be found on the racks and shelves of most major retailers right now. Because of this, the term retro has seen a few interesting spikes over the last 15 months, with peak interest mainly taking place in January, and again during the spring and summer months. This trend in particular is really fun since it can be applied to a lot of different products, designs, and styles. So in 2024, consider how you could incorporate more retro themes into your own products and marketing. While analyzing trends for this video, one term in particular couldn't be ignored. The term axolotl shirt exploded last month, seemingly out of nowhere, skyrocketing from just 320 searches in September to 3,510 searches in October. This is one of the few times I've ever seen monthly search numbers exceed competition numbers. I'm not sure how long this trend will maintain, but it's definitely worth your time to start working on a few axolotl themed designs just in case. Add another cute animal to your 2024 Trends Bingo card, because over the last 15 months, we've seen notable spikes in searches for capybaras. In fact, I thought this trend was dying out due to an overall drop in searches since June. But last month, searches jumped from 1,220 in September to 9,180 searches in October. Not to mention, I'm seeing tons of capybara-themed products in stores this year while doing my own holiday shopping. A good indication that these giant guinea pigs may become Etsy's next hot trend in 2024. Over the last few years, Etsy's handmade promise has clearly started to dwindle, but that doesn't mean that shoppers aren't still looking for handmade items. In fact, over the last few months, we've seen huge spikes in searches that specify handmade in the query. The term handmade gift saw large spikes during key gift buying periods, such as around Mother's Day and Father's Day, and again last month. This tells me that shoppers will likely continue to seek handmade items this holiday season, as well as for other gift-giving occasions. To narrow down on handmade gifts even more, I found the patterns between searches for gifts for men versus gifts for women to be really interesting. When we compare the numbers, it looks like handmade gifts for women are searched way more consistently throughout the year, whereas handmade gifts for men has a much less predictable search pattern, but with bigger spikes in searches during around key gifting holidays. When it comes to giftable products, the term keychain is always a hot search on Etsy, with a consistent trending search pattern that seems to maintain high interest throughout the year. Keychains are an optimal gift for anniversaries, birthdays, and special events that aren't necessarily seasonally specific. So consider catering keychains to some of these occasions in order to stay within the range of high demand. If you want another sure trend that can stack with many of the other trends that we've discussed today, wall art may be the perfect industry to get into. That's because on Etsy, wall art continues to remain one of the most searched keywords year-round. So consider stacking trends to make capybara wall art or dragon wall art in order to target niches within this popular industry. For those familiar with Twitch, there's a steady interest in searches for Twitch overlays, with only 3 seasonal drops in August, February, and July. And Twitch isn't just about streaming gameplay anymore. If you can think of a creative hobby, it likely exists on Twitch, with industries like makeup, fitness, cooking, cosplay, crafting, and even just chatting. So if you're familiar with the platform and want to take advantage of this trend in 2024, consider targeting some of the niches that other sellers may not immediately think of when it comes to Twitch streamers. With 80s and 90s themes becoming more popular than ever, we've seen a continuous search pattern for neon signs over the last 15 months on Etsy. But even if you don't have the tech know-how to make a real neon sign, it doesn't mean that you can't take advantage of this trend. Neon colors or products that glow under a black light are also becoming increasingly popular, as well as products with prints that are made to look like neon signs, such as shirts and even greeting cards. When it comes to products related to essential workers, there will always be a high demand, especially when it comes to those working in the medical field. Last month on Etsy, we saw a noticeable jump in searches for nurse tote bag. And if search patterns remain similar to last year's big November spike, we may see similar holiday spikes this year as well. Overall, nurse tote bags seem to maintain relatively consistent search patterns throughout the entire year, making the term relatively easy to rank for in search due to low competition levels. Up until this year, I'd never heard of pickleball, but apparently it's pretty popular, with search volumes fluctuating throughout the year. With an increased awareness in the sport taking place, as more and more pickleball facilities begin opening for people to explore this new hobby, I strongly suspect that we'll see even more interest in pickleball-themed products as weather warms up in 2024. The last trend on our list has seen a huge spike in searches over the last month that seem to come out of nowhere. But before I share this final 2024 trend, and since I don't do any of the paid sponsorship stuff that most YouTubers do, today's video is sponsored by me! For those who have been waiting, my self-paced coaching program is opening in just a few short weeks. And since I'm only one person running this whole shindig with my husband, we can only accept new students from December 1st through the 10th. The Handmade Alpha Academy is my 9-module guided training program that teaches sellers a foundational knowledge of brand psychology, marketing, and funnel building. HAA isn't a little how to start an Etsy shop course. It's an entire mindset. It's a daily plan that will help to keep you on a timeline of growth and accountability. And following the program is as easy as following along as I guide you through that process step by step. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, I teach you how to define your target audience, how to use proven psychological triggers in your shop and marketing to attract that ideal customer, and how to build a perpetual traffic funnel so that you have more control over the money that you make from your business. The Handmade Alpha Academy is currently the only Etsy course in the world built on a foundation of neuromarketing, teaching you the essential whys behind your decision making in order to understand how those brand choices directly affect the emotions of the customers that you'd like to attract. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, I don't teach success secrets. I teach data, science, and behavioral psychology. Because success secrets are subjective, but science doesn't lie. Which is why we have over 1,000 successful students, many of whom run their businesses full-time. Not to mention, I'm so invested in your Etsy success that I personally buy each of my students a 12-month eRank Pro subscription. And I provide you with annual access to our yearly Alpha Holiday Bootcamp, as well as the Product Photography Essentials Workshop by Coach Christina Nicole. So if you dig my teaching style and this sounds like something that you may be interested in checking out for your own business, I've added a link up here somewhere and down below where you can learn more about the program, our success stories, and the class curriculum. Okay, back to business. Personalized products on Etsy are always popular, but last month, something really interesting happened with the term personalized necklace. After a relatively slow year, searches for this term had a huge spike, going from 1,200 searches in September to almost 60,000 searches in October. I don't know if this is interest due to the holidays or if personalized jewelry is simply rising in popularity, but it may be something to think about if you plan to sell necklaces in 2024. Overall, success on Etsy means planning at least 4 months ahead for popular seasons in order to stay ahead of your competitions and plan strategically for busy seasons. And with a little science, a lot of data, and some help from a trusted Etsy expert, you'll be well on your way to Etsy success. Cue the funky lo-fi beat.